Hi, and welcome back to Martial Mind Mastery, Module 1, Topic 1, Key Point number 6, which is all about loading your tank with mental chi. So when I talk about a tank of chi, chi being energy, life force, I'm referring to a tank, and this is theoretical of course, that's located just under your belly button, which is also your second chakra point, or in Chinese called danqin. So visualize this tank of qi, and you're born with a full tank of qi. And then we do things in life that either add to the tank or deplete it. So kind of consider it like a bank account. You can deposit funds onto it or you can withdraw. Now the whole idea is not to go too much into the red, or when you do go into the red, to realize that and to add to your tank of qi. Now we can do this on a physical level, which we will deal with in Module 2 when we talk more about the body. For example, eating healthy will add to your mental qi. Right now, however, we're talking about the mental side of qi. So what is the mental side of qi? Really, it's all about feeding your mind, your senses, with as much positive input as you possibly can. And this is non-judgmental. So when I talk about positive input, this could be reading a book. It could be a novel that you enjoy. That's also positive. It could be a self-help book, or that you're learning something, a course. So this is helping you to grow, to develop, to become hopefully more wise. That would also be considered mental qi. You also want to pay attention to what you listen to and what you watch. So once again, no judgment. Some people like to watch violent movies or horror movies, and it doesn't do that much to them. For a lot of people, however, this can leave a negative implant on them. It can cause bad dreams or that you don't feel that great. So that's very personal. My personal view is I want to put as much positivity as possible into my brain. So I avoid watching very violent movies. My wife, for example, if something violent happens, we have to, on a movie or a series, and even if we're like 3 episodes into it, it was very enjoyable, and then it gets kind of violent, we turn it off. She gets nightmares, she can't sleep well after watching that, so she will avoid that completely. I'll occasionally maybe watch like this adventure movie and has some violence or some fighting in it, and I'm okay. However, having said that, I do notice as I'm progressing, and I don't mean once again as a judgment, and perhaps as I'm getting older, I avoid watching violence as much as often. So that might be for some people a negative, a withdrawal from your mental qi. If it's causing you stress or anxiety or just doesn't make you feel good. So anything really, and once again, this is very personal, that is disempowering, that doesn't make you feel good, that's a withdrawal from your tank of qi. So what we want to do is put deposits into it as much as possible. We want to feed our mental qi with as much empowering input as possible. So back to reading, learning new things, listening to positive podcasts and YouTube videos, online courses like this. So things that stimulate you, that captivate you, that make you feel good, that empower you, that bring you closer to where you want to go and not further away. So you have to use your own internal compass to determine for yourself what that means. If it makes you feel good and it's healthy, then it's good, then it's empowering. So I also, for example, will avoid listening to gossip. I think gossip is quite negative. The person's not there, it's talking behind their back. So I used to listen to that a little bit, and I notice now when people start gossiping, I say I'm not interested. I withdraw myself from the conversation, because to me, that's not positive impact. It's not positive input to load my tank with qi. So it's really about paying attention to our senses. What are we watching? What are we listening to? Perhaps even what we're smelling, but that's a lot easier. If you smell something bad, it's not like, oh, I think I'll smell some more of that. So that's maybe an easier one. And just how I feel as well. So it could also be the clothes I'm wearing. Do they feel comfortable? That might be somewhat physical, but also mental. Remember, there's an overlap between the mental and physical side. So to keep it short, and this is going to be a short video, Pay attention to the things during the day, during the week, during the month, in the evening, in the weekend, on social media, on YouTube, watching TV, the books you read, the conversations you listen to, the podcasts that you listen to. Do you feel that they're empowering you? Do they make you feel good? And it doesn't mean we avoid all negativity. It's important, of course, to be aware about what's going on out in the world, and that's not always pleasant. So I'm not talking about completely locking yourself or closing yourself off from worldly events. At the same time, I personally avoid getting overindulged in them. For example, I won't start the morning by turning on the news. The news sells negativity because negativity sells. So you'll generally hear a lot of negative things going on. And although they may be concerning, and I'm not saying we shouldn't take action, like I said, however, I don't want to start my morning when my stress levels are at the highest, your cortisol levels at the highest in the morning because it helps you wake up. So the last thing you want to do is feed it with stressful information. So I'll avoid all social media. I won't get on social media. There's a lot of likes and dislikes going on there as well. I'll avoid watching the news. I won't read any newspapers, at least for the first hour, preferably even the first 3 hours of my day. What I'll do in the beginning, kind of as a morning routine, is I'll write in my journal, because you're very creative in the morning. And I'll listen to a podcast, something that I can learn from, that'll inspire me. I'll do a meditation. So this is kind of a combination of mental and physical loading of my tank of chi. So once again, I'll often be combining the two. So I'll incorporate things that are both mentally and physically. Actually, the first thing I do when I get up is drink a lukewarm glass or slightly hot glass of water with a little lemon juice in it to get rid of toxins out of my body. I'll create a separate video to explain my full morning routine in more detail. If you're interested, let me know. Send me an email or link in this video. So a morning routine is very important. That's how you kind of set your day. So I'll think positive thoughts to empower me, to bring me closer to where I want to go. That's feeding my tank of chi. So rather than get up in the morning and say, oh, what a dreadful day, I have to do this, I have to do this, I'll reframe it. I will say, I get to do this, and I'll get to do that, and I have this opportunity to do that. So I'll talk more positive to myself. So that goes back to the emotional triad as well. I'll notice which of the elements I'm actually in. Going back to that, I'll be more mindful. So I take my thoughts away from worrying too much about the future. I will plan for it, but not worrying about it, or thinking too much about the past, things that happened that I can't change anymore, unless I've learned from them and there's some things I want to set straight. So I'll be more mindful. I'll be more in the moment. This will also feed my mental tank of chi. So I want to be aware of what I'm doing with this tank of chi. So the whole idea is you're born with a full tank of chi, and then as life goes on, we do things that will either deplete it or that will fill it back up. So become aware of how your day looks like. So once again, go through the steps. Are you being mindful? Are you using the emotional triad? Are you aware of which element are you in? Are you a lot of earth and fire all the time? Or are you more calm, relaxed? I will focus on my breathing, which also has a mental effect that calms down the mind. And I will make sure I feed my senses as much as possible with positive input. Now, when I go out on the street, of course, I'm well aware you don't have full control of that. You may see and hear things, smell things as well, that you don't like, that are not as positive. So we can't completely avoid having negative input. However, at the same time, when it's my time and the moments that I am in more control of my surroundings and my situations, like at home, I will make sure that I'm loading my tank with mental chi. So anything that makes me feel good, that gives me joy, and that empowers me and brings me further, closer to my goals, the person I want to be, and how I want to feel. So my assignment to you today is to take note of your mental input. What are you doing consistently on a daily basis? And perhaps where can some changes be made? Are there certain situations where you could be loading your tank of chi a little bit more often than you are right now? So I'm wishing you all the best with this assignment. It's greatly enhanced my life. Just the realization that I was doing things that was depleting my tank of chi, and I could be doing more things that would fill up my tank of chi. So wishing you all the best with this, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video with an overflowing tank of positive chi. Thank you. See you next video.